Hello, thank you very much for staying. Thank you for your talks. It was very interesting. Well, my story starts 12 years ago when I have an accident. And so we talk about second life, virtual life. My second life started when I had to learn how to use this hand. It's a myoelectric hand. So basically there is two electrodes that get the muscular contraction. This is called a socket. This is a battery. And this is the hand. So basically, when you contract your muscle, you create electricity that will open the hand. And when you contract the other muscle, you will get another signal to open or close the hand, more or less, to understand. Yeah. So in 2002, that was my hand. So this is what I have. I was thinking it's very strange that in 2002 we cannot make better hands, like Terminator or like better things. And suddenly in 2012, this is what I saw on the internet. So these are prosthetic hands. There is a difference between prosthetic hands and robotic hands. A robotic hand is made to take something, particular thing, to put it somewhere or to do a special action. A myoelectric hand or prosthetic hand is made to bring autonomy to people. So it's very different. A robotic hand doesn't need to take a fork, for instance. So this hand cost 70,000 euros, this one about 30,000, this one 50,000. So of course I was very frustrated. And at the same time I realized that in France we have security social, this system based on solidarity, that everybody who works will pay taxes for other people. So of course when you are never sick, you are sick of paying for other people. But this is the system we live in. It's not too bad. So I never paid for this hand. But these hands are very expensive. At the same time, in 2012, I didn't really know what to do. I discovered Fab Labs. I didn't know what it was. I discovered open source, and I discovered 3D printers. So the first question I asked was, is it possible to make a hand? And they said, yeah, why not? So let's go on Thingiverse and find a hand. So they found a hand that was open source based on Arduino, and we started to make it. So this is all the pieces made with a 3D printer. And this is how we assembled it. So you can see that this is fishing line. It's really, DIY process. More or less. So it's very cheap. This hand cost about 200 euros, the total cost of this hand. Final results. So of course, in maker fairs, geek picnics, all of places like this, people are very excited, to see like an arm like this. It's much more fun to see this compared to this. So people prefer to see this. It depends where you are, but. So the hand is based on this project, which is a French project developed by Gaël Langevin. This is called InMove project, and everything is open source. So this is how the project was possible. So then we traveled a little bit together around the world. So the hand works more or less the same way. There is an Arduino board with chip servo motors and muscle sensors here that you put on the skin. And by contracting your muscles, you can open and close the hand. So the same as this one, except that this one is 10,000 euro and this one is 200. So wow, it's fantastic. You created a cheap prosthetic hand. No. It's just a prototype. But as he was explaining about empowerment and confidence and about empathy instead of business, people starting to tell me, why don't you make business from it? Because you made cheap prosthetic hand. But this is not my goal. My goal was to get some confidence back and some self-esteem that I lost with my accident. So this is what I like to do now. I like to have fun with my hand. This was in India a few months ago. And this was in Riga, on my way to Riga. So I feel much more confident with my disability today. And that's the most important thing. It's not about making something cheap or try to make a prosthetic hand. It's about trying to do something that will make you feel good. And this is what I like about Fab Labs, because you can make a lot of people. Then let's speak about open source. We started to understand that in a lot of countries, a bionic hand is complicated to make. So there is other hands which are called body-powered hand that you will move thanks to a harness. You will pull a cable that will close and open the hand. There is no electronics, just a mechanical design. So for instance, these two students from Galileo University in Guatemala work on a body-powered hand. Everything is open source. It's a mechanical design. Then this hand was put on Thingiverse. This student from INSA Rennes, a school, downloaded all the files and made a hand. So I was able to test this hand, but the cost of this hand is like maybe $5. And this is more or less the team of the people working on the project in Rennes, where I live. And then we created an association, foundation, called My Human Kit, based on technology, open source, social and education, because by going to the Fab Lab, it's like of going back to school, which is good, because when you're over 25 in France, I don't know in your country, but when you're over 25 here, it's over. If you were not motivated before, it's too late. Sorry, just get on the door, call Pôle emploi, and try to get a job. This is the way I see it, and it's very bad. So Fab Labs are good, makerspace or whatever. It's good because you go back to school, you meet people you wouldn't meet usually, and it's great because we have so much to learn from each other. So social education, you can learn. I'm learning how to use Arduino, how to use a 3D printer. Disability and art, as you saw in the other pictures, the plan is to give another vision of disability, not something bad, but something that I can play with. I can transform it into a force. So this is why we talk about handicap empowerment. Just something that it's not something you want to hide. It's something that you can show, like your earrings, something you're proud of. And humanitarian because, the goal is to make something cheap, affordable for everybody. This is the utopia, like health for all. It's finished. So what's happening now in the world? There is, I'm going fast because this is the part I wanted to talk about. Any questions? No? Today in the world there is a lot of projects like Limbitless, Enable Community in USA. There is EXI project in Japan. There is Open Bionics. These projects are the same. It's like making cheap upper limb prosthetics for disabled people, which is great. So there is like a big buzz on internet. Let's make prosthetics with 3D printers. Well, we see videos, we see pictures of children with 2 thumbs, with 6 fingers, with some like people in South Sudan with 3D printing prosthetic hand. We see a video, we're like, oh my God, Okay, and what about tomorrow? What's the story tomorrow, in 2 months, with the plastic, hand made of plastic? I can tell you that this is a hand that comes from Open Bionics. It's a bionic hand. There is motors inside. The muscle sensors are inside here. So everything is plugged on my skin, in the hand. It's great, but I'm not using it because it's not done. So we are at the start of something very interesting. And this is what I want to talk about. That if you have a Fab Lab and you want to make prosthetic hands for people, or if someone comes, like an amputee, and say, I would like to make a hand, don't say, yes, we're going to make you a prosthetic hand. Just say, yes, we can try to do something together. So you will learn how to use a 3D printer, a software, how to code, how to use Arduino, because this is more important than the final result. Sometimes people ask me, when do you think this will be finished? I don't want this to be finished in 2 years. They ask me if I have a company, because I enjoy doing it. So if tomorrow it's finished, I don't know what to do. No, but then I want this project to be finished. But today we work with INSA, and it's a group of schools, INSA. Some companies are working with us, and some fab labs. This is what I like, and re-education centers. So there is a mix. I'm going from the geeks. I deal with the geeks and with the disabled people and the doctors. And it's very interesting. The most important thing to remember, I was yesterday at Lycée Alembert. It's a secondary school, you know, primary school, secondary school, that train students to orthoprosthetics. And they have, you know, they are experts in that field, so they have some kind of routine. So when you come and you say, let's make a hand made of plastic, they would say, no, it's never going to work. But they don't know, they never tried. So we have to mix doctors and disabled people and geeks and make them work together. This is the hardest thing to do, but it's the most interesting thing. So, ça va, je sais pas. Faudrait conclure, c'est parfait, it's perfect, I'm finished. So this is the, if you want to make, or try to make hand, there is all of this. Yeah, this is the blog, bionico.org. And this is the in the world thing. There is all the projects I know, I found, like Bionic in Italy, France in Move, Guatemala, USA Enable Community, very strong, Limbitless, Japan, EXI, this hand is open source. So everything is online. There is even videos on YouTube that explains you how to put everything together. And you can try, you know, like with the mobile Fab Lab Mobile or in the Vision Ashram. Just try to do it, and this is how it's going to work. To give some feedback and say, yeah, we've tried this. And well, thank you very much.